Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namam. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Nirvana Prakarana Purvārdha, section 54. Instructions for attaining mukti, liberation. Essence of the wisdom of the Gita being presented by Sage Vasistha to Rama. And the essence of the wisdom of the Gita is same as the essence of wisdom of Yoga Vasistha. Essence of wisdom behind all religions of the world. In brief, wisdom is just wisdom. If you don't understand it, you are dumb. When the sense of doership is removed, Lord Krishna is teaching Arjuna. Doership. One does not develop egoistic concept, I am the enjoyer. With the removal of sense of enjoyership, the mind continues to be balanced at all times. There is a secret insight in all mantras. Every mantra is invoking that progress, characterized by neither me nor mine. The mantra ends up with nama. Na is negation. Ma, me and mine. Me and mine relate to your ego. But ego-based me and mine is illusory because ego itself is not a reality. Ego is a reflected self in mental waters. So, shedding one's doership, experiencing the spirit of nama, that's a progressive attainment. And you have to understand it in a profound way. Otherwise, literally, if you follow, you will get into terrible situations. You do amazingly wrong things. And they'll say, neither me nor I'm not the doer. See the Gita. I'm joking. The idea is you are. Lesser is your attention to your egoism. And therefore, if you are told, lessen your ego, you will succeed. You have to figure that out. How can it be possible? It goes both ways. The more harmonized you are, lesser is your ego's pressure. Lesser is your ego pressure, more harmonized you are. It goes back and forth. Supplement-complement relationship. Harmonization is a kind of a melody. When you listen to a bhajan and become involved with the melody of the bhajan, then your feeling sweeps beyond limitations. You yourself cannot handle it. It goes beyond your grasp. When you are told do it, then it is a difficult task. But the beginning teaching is, yes, intellectual. Understand the importance of being free of me and mine. Now, to practice it, it requires your integration, your harmony in day-to-day life, how you are living your daily life. How do you allow your action to turn into karma yoga, your emotion into bhakti yoga, your mental willing process into dhyana yoga, and reasoning into jnana yoga. All this happen when describing, there are so many palabras. When you are harmonizing, it's just a melody. You study musical factors, and the study requires a lot of rhythm and counting the swaras and all that. But when you actually do it, everything is transcended. With the removal of sense of enjoyership, the mind continues to be balanced at all times. With the perpetuation of a balanced mind, one's consciousness expands to infinity. Thus, breaking the illusion of individuality, the soul attains the realization of the divine self. Here is a profound point. If you follow integration, if harmony begins to occur in your personality, led by integral yoga, your consciousness begins to expand. If you don't follow, your consciousness begins to contract. Expand and contract, again, these are highly allegorical terms. The Gita gives you the insight by pointing out two paths, northern path and the southern path. Northern path is called Uttarayana. You begin with Agnir. You develop Vairagya. You grow up, begin to live in the world not like a kid, just going after eat, drink, and be merry, but begin to understand that the world is not going to fulfill all your desires. So Vairagya movement. And along with Vairagya movement, there developed Viveka movement. What you should detach and what you should not detach from. Don't detach from yourself. This is not possible. Don't detach from God within you. Because your own self is related to Jiva is Shiva. Soul is Brahman. So, your attachment should be, figuratively speaking, God-word, not world-word. So, that becomes the quality of viveka that tells you what to detach from and what not to detach from. And if that is developing in your personality, now you live your life with a purpose. Life presents adversity, prosperity, gain, loss, all challenges. But you are never a loser. If adversity comes, you are benefited by it. If prosperity comes, you are benefited by it. if you are following a regular routine in a balanced way. So this type of life is called aha. And that opens the door to purification of vasanas. Subtle desires, they operate through your heart. The bhavana of your heart, how much purified feeling you have, that will depend upon how much purity you have in your subconscious. If subconscious is filled with impurity, suppressed, frustrated desires, impressions of sorrow, misery, failure, negativity, your feeling cannot be bright. Your heart becomes completely burdened. But if you are following this Uttarayana path, Agni, Jyoti, aha, now a window opens into the cave of your heart, as if a beam of moonlight begins to enter, as if the sky begins to reveal itself within your own heart. A sky decked with beautiful moon, and the moon is constantly increasing until it becomes full moon. This whole idea is conveyed by the word Shukla, bright half of the month, where moon goes on increasing. This leads to northern path, northern course of the sun. That means period of daylight begins to increase allegorically. Period of daylight implies your normal consciousness. Consciousness that is holding the illusion of I am the body, I am the mind, I have all these problems, and so much problem have I solved, now this problem I have to resolve. Constantly going like that. Then you are just drawn to your own body identity. And body is extremely limited, like a small circle. The circle doesn't increase. It begins to contract more and more. If you are following the Dakshinayana, the negative path. The Uttarayana, it begins to increase. How much? You ascend the steps of enlightenment until there is absolute revelation. I am that. And that's called Uttarayana Marg, northern path. The other path that one should not go after, one is Preya, another is Shreya. Shreya, the best path, is Uttarayana. Preya path is pleasant, and that is described as Dhumo Ratri Tatha Shukla Sadmasha Dakshinayanam. Dhum, smoky. All your experiences are in a smoke. You don't have clear understanding. What is it all about? Don't have clear understanding. How do you experience things of this world? How does your little brain handle so many points? And what will happen if one little coconut falls upon the head? So, without having that type of vichar or reflection, your mind just becomes more and more interested in staying in a smoky condition, the condition of moha, a delusional vision of the world, then called dhumra. like a smoke. And this smoke leads you to deeper darkness. Dhumo ratri, as if you are going into midnight. Or the day has declined and light has diminished completely. And that will deprive your heart of bhavana, of pure feeling, gradually. And pure feeling, that means love of God, will not be possible. It will be restricted. Love for your own self is a gateway to love of God, because your own self is a jiva, is a reflection of God. So, if that type of love is obstructed, your consciousness, instead of expanding, just like the period of the day, instead of increasing, now begin to shorten and shorten until you come to the shortest day of the year. Diminishing consciousness means you become more and more sensitive to the burden of the world. Sensitive simply means that you are more and more burdened, and you, in order to resolve a problem, you create more problem, because your mind goes after anger, hate, greed, revenge, and all this becomes your world, and your world is so vast with so many demons in it. So it is no longer that aha movement. It is a movement of increasing grief and sorrow. With the perpetuation of a balanced mind, and once you begin to follow the Uttarayana movement, now that which accelerates this movement is the quality of your mind. The quality of your mind becomes more and more serene. Your mind loves to be peaceful, serene, quiet, still, quiescent, enjoying tranquility. So many words are used conveying the same state that you need to develop. Shama is a simple word described as one of the gatekeepers of the palace of liberation. Shama, serenity. How to live your life, but you should not have a mind that is carrying stress constantly, but a mind that throws off the stress and opens the window to a breeze that brings sandalwood fragrance of devotion to God. Shama brings that type of fragrance in your soul. And Shama also is to be attained progressively. Thus, breaking the illusion of individuality, the soul attains the realization of the divine self. O Arjuna, having removed the impurity of multiplicity, the experience of multiplicity is based upon mala. Mala, vikshepa and avarana. Mala is gross impurity, anger, greed, etc. Vikshepa is subtler impurity, this impure, subtle desires. That's another type of impurity. The source of impurity is ignorance itself, called the veiling aspect. You will not be tainted by either action or inaction. If you are experiencing removal of mala, mala is removed by manonash, and vikshepa is removed by vasana kshaya. As the mind is purified, mala diminishes. As subconscious is purified, your distractions diminish until you attain enlightenment. If you are not following this path in a profound way, then you are affected by action as well as inaction. All the works you do, they create karmas. All the works that you don't do, they create worse karma. So, in doing action, you are being driven by ignorance. In doing inaction, you are whipped by ignorance. Both ways, you are moving away from the fulfillment of the purpose of your life. But when you begin to follow Uttarayana, then both becomes enriching to your soul. Your action becomes karma yoga, and integration is promoted. Your inaction is leading to you to sannyasa. Sannyasa means you are not living at the level of your ego. You are living to transcend your ego. You are living to be united with God. One whose actions are devoid of desire and egoistic attachment is known as a sage. One who has burnt down the forest of karmas. That's the description of the sage. By the fire of wisdom. One who is gentle, steady, peaceful, without desire, and established in the self. Though performing karmas, continues to be devoid of all karmic limitations. These qualities have to be understood. And in affirmation, continue to encourage the mind to develop gentleness. In a calm state of mind, try to allow your understanding how blessed you will be if your mind stays gentle, not constantly shouting, barking, angry, agitated, rough, uncultured, but gentle, gracious, blessed, steady, not constantly shaking in its view, peaceful, without desire for the worldly attainments, gain the things you need, but should have no desire to stay with the world process. So, subtle insight into nishkama state must be developed and established in the self. So no matter how things are in the world and in your own personality, you are far beyond, rooted in the self. Just like no matter how you live your day, in deep sleep, you are far beyond all that you have faced. Though performing karmas, He continues to be devoid of all karmic limitations. O son of Kunti, become free from pleasure and pain, love and hatred, ever abiding in the self. Do not be concerned with what is to be obtained, nor with what is already attained. In other words, you do not keep an account of karmic storage. Have I stored good karmas? How much? How much negative karmas have I done? An astrologer tells you in your past life, you have done so many karmas. So now we are calculating how much mantra purascharan should I do to remove those karmas. So that's a kid stage. That also is important, but you have to outgrow that stage. You don't calculate karmas. You simply move Godwards. You don't calculate the degree of darkness. You simply take a flashlight and move on. The dull-witted, who control their senses externally, but continue to harbor desires for objects in their minds, are self-deceivers. Mithyachari and Sadachari, one who is false in his conduct, one who is hypocritical, another who is following the path in a sincere way. Even this has to be evaluated by you. You have to understand how much you are a hypocrite or a righteous person. Your own hypocrisy can be seen by you in degrees, gradually diminishing. If you are really enjoying a higher level of peace, you don't have to be hypocrite. Because hypocrisy you are doing to receive praises from people around you. But when you are really qualified, you don't need praises from people around. It is your self-experience, a self-evident experience. So you come to a state of being absolutely unconcerned with karmic world, what has been obtained, what has not been obtained, free of karmas, free of vasanas, and free of the veiling of illusion. Thus he will adorn the universe with the glory of self-realization. Now, another aspect of movement to enlightenment is like doing good to yourself until you realize the highest self. You continue to move, perfecting the self-realization. But as you do, you are doing good to the world around you in different degrees. If you become self-realized, you are blessing the universe with the glory of self-realization. Another way it is stated, Basantavat lokahite charanta. You become the breeze of spring season, or rather the spirit of spring season. The moment that spirit of spring season enters a forest, every little tree, every little plant becomes active in a profound way. Beauteous expressions begin to develop. through the entire forest. Such is the influence of one who attains enlightenment. And if you talk of doing good to the world, your mind must turn towards integral yoga. How much can you help people to have integration in their life? If that is promoted, you are doing the best service to the world. And if you are yourself following the path, you don't have to exercise much effort. Flower does not have to give much effort to push its fragrance into the atmosphere. The fragrance radiates automatically. So, this magical effect of Godward movement, the effect on the world, has to be kept in view. And that is the profound message of all religions and scriptures. Be good, do good. The dull-witted, who control their senses externally, already you have explained that. Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is not possible if you begin to advance. Just as this ocean continues to be unagitated while receiving vast quantities of water from the numerous rivers that flow into it, so the sage remains steady and profound while he sees all his desires fulfilled by the vision of fullness of Brahman. Try to understand the desire and fulfillment. If your mind is not turning to enlightenment, if mind has not chosen the path of Shreya, the path that is northern path, then your desires are related to worldly attainments. And what happens when your desire is fulfilled? You become exceedingly excited. You see how people immediately rush out of their houses. They have planned to go to Kashmir, to Alaska, to Switzerland. I have nothing against these countries. But just illustrating how fulfillment of desire causes so much agitation. Likewise, frustration of desire hangs heavy over your mind. Attaining enlightenment is the fulfillment of all your desires. The amazing attainment comes to you and you are not agitated. You become more calm. So that's two different stages. One desires being fulfilled, creating lot of agitation. Another desires fulfilled, causing increasing calmness. Nothing new is happening. You are still waiting to see entire world of desire evaporate. That's called Nirvana. Turn all desires into one word, craving. Craving is like the flame that keeps your life busy with the world process. But Nirvana, you blow out the candle. You blow out that flame. of craving. Imagine, just to give you simple illustrations, if you have won a lottery of, say, millions of dollars, it's very exciting. It's hard to handle, and I will not go into details. But if you have won million times greater, how will you handle it? He who is following the northern course is in a situation of gaining millions and millions of times greater attainment, greater happiness, and yet simply diving deeper and deeper into silence. No agitation, because nothing new. If you are following the path of enlightenment, you have already the view of liberation. Liberation is attainment of this self-realization, and the self is infinite bliss. So all the bliss that your mind is after is transcended. So nothing is new for one who is Godward. Nothing can add to his inner reality. The entire world and all its attainments becomes leela, sport. And that is allegorically presented. Apuryamanam machalam pratishtham samudramapa parvishanti yadvat. Just like rivers flow into the ocean, countless rivers, without agitating the ocean. Ocean does not swell up. Similarly, countless desires of the world are fulfilled, but the ocean-like awareness of one who is enlightened remains unruffled. Countless things go on in the world, but when you are in deep sleep, deep sleep, you are untouched by all happenings. That's only an illustration. In the reality of yourself, the entire world is absent. In the section 55, the same teaching of the Gita continues regarding this knowledge of the self that confers release. Sri Bhagavan Krishna said, "O Arjuna, a wise man should neither reject the enjoyments of the objects nor go after them." Rejecting on one side and going after on the other side. This movement keeps the mind in a state of distraction, unsteady. There's always things you love, and therefore you want to hold on to them. And things you hate, you want to repel them. To attract and to repel. This movement in the mind maintains your karmic bondage. But when you are Godward, when you possess the Godward movement, you learn the art of staying serene. Serene when you are attaining prosperity. Serene when your prosperity is being lost. You become free of dehadhyas, body identity, and involvement in the lower self. The mortal body is in the category of the non-self. You should not become identified with it. You, just like this Think of the sun becoming identified with a little pot of water with the reflected sun. Imagine the sun somehow feels sympathy for the little sun in a jar of water. And it starts beating its head. What happened to my baby? This whole thing is stupid. Because the sun has nothing to do with the reflected sun and its predicament. The sun is ever perfect. Similarly, the real I am in you is like the sun. That divine sun doesn't need any help. It is not under any torture, or it is not under any situation of being blessed by the world. The sun doesn't need the not self to help it. And with this, I will conclude for today. Om. Om. Ram, 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 Ram. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras grace of God over all of you, with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Vabandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.